What's up, YouTube? Hey, Steve here from Rackin' and Reelin'. Shot a deer, so we're gonna do a video on beef jerky. Not beef jerky, venison jerky. My wife absolutely loves this Cabela's mix. Peppered, sweet and hot. We got original, teriyaki, all different kinds of flavors. She loves it. So we do this usually all the time with our ground venison. But I do want to start off by thanking the landowners. We are very blessed to have the property to hunt. So I'm not going to mention their names. They know exactly who they are. Thanks, guys. We appreciate it. So what we do is we will take our front quarters. We'll cut as much of the meat off as possible. And that's what we got this bowl of. It was a very small doe we shot this year, and we managed to get right about 10 pounds even. So we're gonna make 5 pounds of peppered. We're gonna make 5 pounds of sweet and hot. We do not add any pork or beef into our mix for the beef jerky, the venison jerky. We find it's much better for us and to our liking, just to keep it nice and lean. It's great for you too. So this will all get ground up with the grinder. Mix all the flavor in, following the directions, which we'll go over as the video goes on. Then we're gonna pack the meat into a meat gun. It's kind of like a caulking gun. You can, if you don't have this, you can get away with using a rolling pin. Take your ground meat, put it all out, roll it out, cut it, put it on your drying racks. We got a bunch of drying racks that makes it a lot easier, helps dry a lot quicker. You could use a smoker, dehydrator, or an oven. For this video, we're gonna use an oven. I think it suits most of the people in the country. Most people have an oven, whether it's electric or gas. So yes, this video is the ground meat from the front quarters of the deer. Tune in. You should subscribe, because I think we're going to do a video, because we did take our hindquarters from this very deer. We have a bunch of meat, and we're going to make whole muscle jerky. I got a very special recipe coming at you guys. I love it. Everybody I gave to try with the last deer we had absolutely loved it. So yeah, hit that subscribe button, notification bell, so you know when all of our videos come out. And thanks for tuning in. Here we go. Okay, so now it's time for doing some meat grinding. I say we have 10 pounds of deer meat. We're going to grind it through our Cabela's electric grinder. I need a couple of bowls, so I'm going to catch your grinded meat. So we have 10 pounds. Each one of this particular box is 3 5-pounds, so it's 15 pounds total. We're going to make 5 pounds of peppered and 5 pounds of sweet and hot. Now, something I suggest, gloves. I didn't mention that before, but gloves help. Keeps your hands from getting gross, and you can use these once it comes to the time for mixing in that seasoning. Not necessary. You can pick these up at your local food store or wherever you need. Let's do this. Okay, well that doesn't take very long to do 10 pounds. I'm just gonna feed it in. Use this to get it down in. I'm not forcing it in, let the grinder do its thing. Perfect. Let's get some seasoning in this meat. All right, so now that we've got our venison deer meat ground up, it's time to mix in our Cabela seasoning and jerky cure. I have it separated into 5 pounds here. because each pack does 5 pounds. So what we're going to do here is take our measuring cup, calls for a half a cup of water, cold water. Should have opened this before I started recording. We're good. So we're going to empty that into it. And our cure, the seasoning packet, not the band. And we're going to mix this up thoroughly. Once you have it decently mixed up, you can take it and pour it into your bowl. And we can go ahead, mix this up real good. This here would be the main reason I believe to wear gloves, because this seasoning and cure is pretty potent. I'm pretty sure your hands would smell like whatever flavor beef jerky you're making. I'm sure it would smell like that for quite a long time. Now the directions on the boxes don't say to let this sit, but we always let it sit. Kind of let it set up, let it cure in. It seems to work a lot better for us. You could follow the directions, do whatever you want to do. I'm just telling you what has worked for us. Mix it up real well. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this, mix it up real well, and we're going to cover it up. We're going to let it sit. Again, there's no specific timing. It's just convenient for us to let this sit. Cover it, refrigerate it, keep it cold obviously. I like to cover it. It's like anything else you marinate. You're gonna want it covered. But that's pretty good. I'll see you soon when we throw this in the meat gun and start making some strips. All right, so now it's time to take the meat after we let it sit a little bit in the fridge, let it rest a while with the seasonings in it. Now it's time to stuff our injector, to roll it out, squeeze it out onto the drying racks, which are going to go into the oven that I currently have preheating to 180. What I like to do here is get it started. Kind of squeezes all the air out. Once you feel it's ready to go here, you're ready to go. And all the way through. So, do it all over again. After doing this in the past, pretty certain that 3 racks like this does 5 pounds. You space it out properly, which again, there's not really an improper spacing. Now one thing you don't want to do, you got to have this caulk gun on a decent angle like this, because if you're squirting it straight down into the wire drying rack, when you go to take them off, they're going to be stuck into the drying rack, so you don't want that. You just kind of want to get the meat to sit on top. And there you have it. Continue that until you fill up your rack where you finish your 5 pounds. Alright, so I got all of my meat through the gun, strips on my 3 drying racks. So what I'm going to do today is I got a little bit of extra meat left over. I'm going to take, remember earlier I had said about you could roll your meat out if you don't have the meat gun. So today we're going to take our gingerbread man, also known as our hunter, our horse, also known as a white-tailed deer. We got a bear, and we got a tree. I guess you could see the theme we're going to go with. We're going to show you how you can use a rolling pin, roll them out, use cookie cutters, and make yourself cookie cutter beef jerkies. Pretty simple stuff. Take your rolling pin. And I did go ahead and use a little bit of cooking spray on this so that it doesn't stick. I'm just going to roll it out to your liking, to your thickness, usually about, I would say, 1/8 of an inch. All right, so we're going to start with our hunter. Place him in there. Actually, what we're going to do here is I'm going to try to do all of them so that we can sort of pull the remainder out of it. And I lost a tree here. So there we go. All right. I am no baker. I'm going to do the best I can here. And there we got a little bear. Kind of looks like a little hunter too, but it's a bear. And the tree. And finally, our white-tailed deer. Ah, perfect. You could be creative. Go ahead and throw some antlers on this guy. Tell everybody you got yourself a big 12-pointer. So, the rest of this then, what I normally would do, because it's not much to put into the gun, so what I would do here normally is make a big chunk. Even if you don't use the rolling pin, make a ball out of this. Use the rolling pin, makes it easier. This is how you can go ahead and use a knife if you don't want to use, if you don't have a gun and you don't want to use the cookie cutters, you can go ahead and use a knife, or just go ahead and use a spatula works. Anything to get it thin, strips, something to make it edible. Take these, get them on your drying racks. Again, it's absolutely not an exact science. So they're all on the racks. We didn't waste any meat whatsoever. We made some cool little figures. I have the oven already set, 180. We're going to set a timer for 2 hours, not 2 minutes, 2 hours, just to come back, check it. Usually at 2 hours, it's ready to flip. Rotate your trays. Perfect. Yeah, I'm going to prop open my oven too, just a little bit, about 1 inch, just to let the moisture come out. It helps dry this. So we'll see you in 2 hours. Alright, so after 2 hours, I believe they are ready to flip. Starting to actually get a good crust on them. So what I like to do is flip these. Then we're going to rotate the trays. So we're going to flip all of these as well. They may come apart on you. Just trying to get them off of the rack. Alright, so once you got these trays rotated, you're going to go with the top one all the way to the bottom. You're going to flip all the meat. get it all lined up. We put some of it up top here because it definitely dries a lot quicker on the top. And the more air you have getting in, the better it'll dry more evenly. So again, not an exact science. So we're going to take this back in. We're going to throw it back in. Oven's still at 180. We're going to go for another 2 hours. This is where you really want to start watching it once you get to that 1.5 to 2 hour range. Some of it may get done before other, like this top stuff may get done before the stuff down on the bottom. So that's when you can start clearing it out, pulling it out, letting it dry outside, letting it cool off when it comes to room temperature. So we'll see you in another 2 hours. All right, so after 4 to 6 hours, we're gonna call it, because at 4 hours, we took most of it out, and it's kind of like, use your best judgment. It's how you want it made. Ours is pretty good. Some of the pieces snap and fall apart. They're a little drier than others. And you got some of the thicker ones, they're perfect. They bend. It's good stuff. Our little white-tailed deer turned out perfectly. It's gonna get shot by boom. So as far as packaging, normally this here will probably definitely be eaten within a day or two with my kids. But otherwise, you could vacuum seal it, put it in a Ziploc bag, refrigerate it. Not necessary. It depends on how fast you're going to eat it. I've heard of people canning this stuff. But if you want to save it for next year, I would probably vacuum seal it, throw it in the freezer. It'll stay good probably for, don't take my word for it, but up to a year maybe. So yeah, if you guys like beef jerky, it's obviously why you're watching this. Our next video is going to be whole muscle jerky with probably the best recipe on the planet. I'm talking this stuff is phenomenal. So click that subscribe button, hit that little bell, and you'll know when it happens. If you like outdoor stuff, we're your channel. So yeah, thank you. All right, so at the beginning of this video, we asked you to watch till the end. That was not a gimmick. I'm gonna give you a hint. The Cabela's beef jerky, it's good. It adds flavor, but you need more. So my suggestion is add pepper to the mix and a little bit of salt. The reason being, flavorless. Very little flavor, very little. So add pepper and salt to your liking. There's your hit for Rockin' and Reelin'. Thanks.